Guys, watch how bad I dismantle the Orthodox Muslim. Just watch.
God is, you believe in a themistic idea of actus purus, but you affirm EED?
Which is not an issue. I believe God has no contingency, no passive potency. I believe God is pure actuality. I believe God is eternal. He's universal. He's necessary. But I also don't believe that the expressions of which God acts are going to be identical to the act, meaning the expressions are not identical to the acts. Very, very simple. Now let's move on.
I'm so confused, bro.
Well, I hold to the
What the heck are you talking about?
So when God creates, everything that he does is from his will and from his actions. These actions are going to be eternal, but the expressions of these acts...
Does he go from not acting to acting?
No, God is not a subject to change. He's not. There's no change to God.
So he's always acting.
No, because always requires a measurement. So measurements don't exist in eternality.
Brother, it doesn't require a measurement. Is God
what does
acting
always imply? What does always imply?
Brother, as long.
Look at the stutter. Look at the stutter. He knows he is wrong. Always is a measurement. Watch what he says next. Watch what he says next.
As long as God has existed, he's been acting, right?
There's no long requires a measurement. See, long requires measurement. Eternality is timeless. If time is just a measurement of change, which is going to be conceptual, and eternality is timeless, that means measurementless. I know it's not really a word, but just stick with me. Measurementless. So if long is a measurement, there's not going to be no how long this and how long that. Let's move on.
Long requires a measurement. All right, brother, are you okay in the head, brother?
No, I am. I just know how to use my words.
Are you serious?
I know how to use my words.
Is there a beginning to creation or not?
Yes, creation has a starting point.
Okay, that means the act has a starting point.
No, the expression of the act has a starting point.
The expression of the act has a starting point?
Exactly.
So the act is not sufficient?
The act is distinct from the expression. That doesn't follow. They're not identical.
I understand. Is it sufficient for the expression?
What do you mean is it sufficient?
Is the act sufficient for the expression?
What are you defining
as sufficient? Is it a sufficient cause?
You mean is it the reason for why the expression exists?
Is the act a sufficient cause for the expression?
Is it necessary?
I'm saying is it sufficient?
Yeah, but what are you... Guys, according to the principle of sufficient reason, everything that exists must have a reason for its existence. But then according to the argument of radical contingency, this very reason for why all things exist, according to the principle of sufficient reason, must be something that's uncontingent. And this uncontingency must be eternal, which is going to be the act. So when he's saying X is the act and F is the expression, F is going to be the very thing that exists that needs a reason for its existence, which is X. He's so slow, but let's keep on watching. Finding a sufficient here.
Yeah, but what are you defining as sufficient here? You don't know what sufficient means?
I just don't know how you are implying it here. Are you asking me does it have as much perfection?
The act.
And again, the reason why I said as much perfection is because there's also another principle called an effect cannot be greater than its cause. But this effect only refers to the qualities of God, not of contingency in itself. So, but let's keep on watching.
Does it have sufficiency to bring about the expression?
Yes.
Or does he need something else?
No, obviously.
Is the act alone
sufficient?
Sufficient?
Obviously God acting is sufficient enough.
All right, so if it's sufficient, then how could the expression not follow?
Well, because
as the act happens, how does the expression not?
And watch, he's not referring to identity, but then he's going to make an identity claim by saying anything that is true for X when it comes to eternality, that is also true for F because F comes from X. But then now he is saying that if God is eternal, creation must be eternal. What an absolute... Oh my goodness. Guys, this is crazy. He contradicted his own principle, his own argument. Right? If F is going to be creation, X is going to be God, because I believe the acts are identical to the will, and the will is identical to God. This is going to be referring to God being the reason for why X or for F existing, which is going to be creation. So does a non-contingent or does contingent things come from a non-contingent being? Yes. Let's keep on watching.
Following if it's sufficient.
Because it's distinct from the expression.
I understand it's distinct. It doesn't have to be identical. I'm saying if act X produces F and act X is sufficient for F, then it follows as act X exists, F follows from X necessarily.
That's an identity claim, bro. This is insane. Bro, he got cooked so bad. And this is embarrassing for the Orthodox Muslim. And basically, we're just gonna do like maybe like a couple more minutes, but he kicks me. Just a couple more minutes of just like going over it and seeing how silly his reasoning is. Guys, Muslims have cognitive dissonance. They don't know, and they always want to call it semantic games and mind games because they don't want to, or they don't know the very terminologies that they're using. And I hope he posts this as well. But let's keep on watching. No, because I believe you're doing a categorical error.
No?
We don't
so
believe.
It's not sufficient.
Hold on, we don't believe the. Do we believe the act is eternal or contingent?
The act itself?
Yeah.
You just said it's eternal.
Okay, and what do we believe the expression is to be?
It's what the act produces.
No, but what do we believe it's contingent or eternal?
Oh, it's contingent, of course.
Okay, so what's the issue with an eternal aspect producing something that is contingent?
There's no issue.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Orthodox Muslim. There is not an issue for an uncontingent eternal being, right, producing something that is contingent and that is non-essential or non-necessary as what we have known as temporal or contingent. So therefore your argument fails. Guys, he's responding to my argument of me believing that the acts of God are not going to be identical to the expression, which is going to be what we know as the contingent things that exist according to the principle of sufficient reason. We're going to do the last little minute and then we're going to cut right where he cuts me off. And then I'm just going to end the video, but let's keep watching.
I just said, why wouldn't the expression follow from the act?
Because it's not identical to the act.
It doesn't have to be identical. Is this guy brain dead?
Okay, so he's inserting that just because F follows from X and therefore F must be eternal as well as X. Again, this is an identity claim, bro. This is not just about procession. It's not about procession. Usually when it comes to something both being eternal, when the very thing that comes from the other thing is eternal, is going to be the sense of identity. And if I'm wrong, Lord forgive me and may I be corrected. But come on, yo, this is insane.
Who said it has to be identical?
Okay, but
let's do it this way. Is act X sufficient for F?
Yes. Guys, remember, when I had asked him if X is sufficient for F, if this is going to be just referring to, is it the reason for why F exists and nothing else external from X? Right? Maybe he doesn't believe the acts are identical to God, but I do. But we're going to see at the end where he pretty much concedes his argument, that he has no argument.
Yes. So F follows from X.
Okay.
Okay. If we have X, then we have F. Correct?
Yes, X is the reason for F. And you're going to hear me say this in the end. The reason for why that is because if God exists, then creation is going to exist. And we're just referring to the actual world, of course. So if God is existing, then we exist. That's what I mean by X. The reason for F is because of X.
All right. But you're saying in this case, there's only X and there is no F. It only comes later.
When did I say that? Yeah, when did I say that?
Oh my God. Is the expression...
Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Any Christian, you can correct me if you know I need correction. But when did I say that? When did I insert that into my argument? I don't think I ever inserted that.
After the act.
What do you mean after the act? Are you obviously the expression?
Does the act have a...
Guys, you see how he said after? He contradicted himself again. He's inserting that F must be eternal. But how can F be eternal if there's going to be an after? Guys, holy slow. Lord forgive me.
Beginning.
The act does not have a beginning.
Does the expression have a beginning?
Yes.
So how could it be a sufficient reason for the expression, for what is being produced?
Yes, because according to the principle of sufficient
you are saying now X is not sufficient for F.
Okay, are you gonna let me respond?
Because you already agreed if X then F.
Are you gonna let me respond? Are you gonna let me respond?
Yes.
Yeah, so according to the principle of sufficient reason, everything that exists must have a reason for its existence. So if that reason for the existence must be uncontingent, this is going to be the very thing which is going to be the act.
Oh my
right?
God. This has nothing to do with contingency or not.
It literally,
oh my
it literally
God.
does. You're literally,
Brother, follow.
you're asking this okay,
Follow.
as your response to
brother,
my
brother,
answer.
you're not following.
Hold on.
I don't
brother,
get
how
not
this
following.
has to do. I don't get how this has to do with the argument.
Oh my God, this is so bad. All your friends are laughing at you right now. Sir,
I don't care.
Does F follow from X?
F follows from X in the sense of it being contingent on X.
I didn't say it's not contingent.
Okay. There you go. By him saying F must be eternal, he's inserting that it must be uncontingent because things that are contingent cannot be eternal. Bro, he got intellectually destroyed once again. This is the second time I debated Libiano. Bro, this is insane, bro. So what's your point?
Who said it's not contingent?
What is your point? How does this refute my position?
My point is, does F follow from X?
F follows from X in the sense that it comes from X.
That's fine. So it does follow from X?
How does this refute my position?
So if the...
Bro, y'all see it. Y'all see it, bro. Look at his face, bro.
act is eternal, and the eternal act, the effect is produced from the eternal act, then the effect must also be eternal.
That's false. Wow. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. If God is the reason who produces the expression or creation, then creation must also be eternal. What a goofball. What a goofball. Come on, bro. This is insane. If God is the reason for why all things exist, that means the things that exist must also be the reason for itself, meaning they also must be eternal. This is embarrassing.
If X, then F.
Nope.
It's a sufficient reason.
Because when it comes to identity...
So it's not a sufficient reason?
Anything that is true for X is not true for F.
Oh my God. What does this have to do with identity?
You're literally saying if X is eternal, F must also be eternal.
Because F follows from X because X is sufficient for X.
That doesn't follow. That doesn't follow.
How does it not follow? You already agreed.
Because
if
sufficiency
X, then F,
just refers
right?
to the reason.
If X, then F, right?
Yes, if God exists, creation exists.
X is not God. X is the act.
Okay, hold on. Does the act not come from the very power of God?
It has nothing to do with it.
Hold on. Didn't I say that? Hold on. Didn't I say that?
Is the act here, not God.
Didn't I say that God creates out of His will?
Oh my God.
Didn't I say that?
Brother, what the heck does that have to do with what we're saying?
Does acts come from the will? Yes or no?
Yes.
So is the acts going to be identical to the will?
X is the act. It's not identical. Nobody is saying it's identical. Oh my God.
No, I'm saying, is that an issue?
Bro.
Is that an issue to say that the acts are identical to the will?
Who said it's an issue?
Okay. There you go. He just conceded. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video. I completely intellectually disabled this man. Come on. He literally just conceded. There's not an issue with my position. There is not an issue for my position. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. God bless you all. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, from now on to ages of ages. Amen.